Playoff matchups look like this. For the first time since the merger, the Chargers finished with the top scoring defense in the National Football League. Waiting for them, the 19th ranked scoring offense from Houston. It'll be Justin Herbert's second career playoff start. Had that big lead at Jacksonville and it evaporated. The third for C.J. Stroud. Josh Allen, who's the odds-on MVP favorite, will welcome the rookie Bo Nix. Bills completed an undefeated season at home for the third time in team history. Broncos back in the postseason for the first time since they won the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 50. Only wild card matchup between division rivals, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. It feels like they played twice in the last month. I think they have. Steelers have lost each of their last 5 playoff games, the longest stretch in franchise history. It'll be the first time the Ravens host the Steelers in the playoffs. Let's start right there. Tim Hasselbeck is back. Pittsburgh's lost 4 in a row. I asked Troy Aikman last night, I said, how do you become the team you want to become in a week? And he paused and he said, man, I don't know, Scott. Right. I'm asking you the same thing. Like, for them to win this game against a red-hot Baltimore team, what does it look like?
Yeah, I think it's got to just be one of those ugly games, like an ugly NFC North battle, because look, Baltimore is the better team right now. They're more explosive on offense. They've got more balance on offense. Defensively, they've really, they're probably a little bit banged up at the moment, but they've been better for the most part. And so I think when you look at that and you look at the time that Pittsburgh beat them, it's because there was 3 turnovers, by Baltimore. So, that's their path, because they're going one direction, which is not the right direction, and Baltimore has been trending in the other direction, which is they've just been improving and kind of getting a little bit better each week.
Would it be fair to say, of all the wild card weekend games, that if Pittsburgh were to win that, it would be the most surprising?
Yeah, just
the trends are so awful for them, and
honestly,
they're so.
Lamar has been so good,
right.
And Russ has kind of started to not be as good as he was earlier in the year.
All right, so the Chargers go to Houston, and Houston, they got to win. But who played today? They have not looked great of late, and they've had a bunch of injuries. Stroud's been under duress throughout the year, pressured a lot. This Charger defense is really good. Herbert gets another chance on the road in the playoffs. What's your sense of this game?
To me, that's what it is. It's Stroud has just been, they haven't protected him. They've done a good job keeping him upright. And when you look at the Chargers, you've got a good defense, and they put pressure on the quarterback, and they'll hit you. And I think that's really what it will end up coming down to in that matchup. I just think when you look at what the expectations were for Houston, how they've played. They obviously rested guys today, but it just hasn't felt like the same momentum that you would think that they would be heading into the postseason with. And I think when you look at the Chargers, I think it's just going to be a physical brand of football that might be a little much for Houston.
Look, Houston clearly benefits from playing in a division that was poor across the board, but they got a home playoff game once again Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 local. But they got 60 minutes of football to see if they can earn the right to play beyond that. Denver earned that right today with their 38-0 shutout. They go to take on Buffalo, where, as I just mentioned, the Bills have not lost at home. It's already a hell of a year for a really young Denver team. Yeah. But for them to go in there and battle, what must they do? Well,
I would just say this. I'm glad that you played that sound to Sean Payton, because that's an experienced coach who understands, yeah, I do have a young team. We're going to go into an environment they haven't been a part of before. And so just even planting the seeds of belief in his young football team, he's starting to do that. And then I think that defense is really, really good. They're a top 5 scoring defense. So, yeah, they're going to face one of the best players in all of football in Josh Allen. But Vance Joseph, who's the defensive coordinator in Denver, has done a remarkable job with that side of the ball. And then you and I have said this a few times, like when watching Bo Nix. There have been games where it was it was ugly. And then other times, we're just on a heater.
And he was today.
And he was today. Now, obviously, the matchup wasn't, a playoff matchup on the road, but look, if he gets hot and the defense is playing well, that's the hope that a young team can have going to Buffalo.
And I don't know the numbers of players. I mean, you start with Nix. He's different than the guy from a year ago. We were there for a Monday night game a year ago, and I saw Sean Payton before the game, and he smiled, and he said, we might just sneak in here and steal one. And they did. They actually won that game. So there are a number of folks that are going to be going into that stadium who've been part of a win. The stakes, the stage are clearly different. And as we push back, with Detroit and Kansas City enjoying the week off, is there an overarching theme you have about is there a team that right now you look at and say, this team is a favorite above anyone else? Or do you feel?
No, I would just say this, like with Detroit, and even the guys getting banged up again tonight, they need this. They
haven't had a bye since week 5.
Yeah,
That's 3 months ago, man.
Yeah, and so I think the marathon of the season for them to have that time off, I think is critical. And I would say this, we just talk about the 1 seeds because, the job Andy Reid always does coming off of a bye week. He rested a bunch of guys today. He's going to have a chance of a bye week. I do think look, it's hard to, you asked Aikman, hey, how do you turn the switch on for the playoffs? Can you do it? If there's a team that can offensively, I feel like it would be Kansas City, that all of a sudden, who they look like in the postseason on offense might be a little bit different than who they were in the regular season on offense.
Look, they don't play a bunch of starters. They get beat 38-0, but they go home for the Arrowhead Invitational, and they're 2 wins away from going to New Orleans for a chance to play for their 3rd consecutive championship. It'll take a hell of an effort to beat that team and that quarterback. No one's been able to do it the last 2 years. All right, these teams not part of the playoff picture. Aaron Rodgers trying to get his 500th touchdown. Here he steps up, finds Tyler Conklin, and that makes him the 5th ever with 500 passing touchdowns. It's a 7-6 game. Dolphins trailing. Snoop Huntley under pressure would be sacked by Hassan Reddick. Will McDonald IV. Quincy Williams recovers. It's the Jets' ball. Ensuing drive for the Jets. And Rodgers finds Alan Lazard. Jets go for 2 and get it. And they build a 15-6 lead. This is the last time we're going to see this man, here or anywhere. He has some thoughts when this one is done, but this frankly was a better version than we had seen in many games. That's a 43-yard gain to Lazard here. Steps up, avoids, and last minute, one more time to Devontae Adams. 4 touchdowns. Aaron, afterwards, on his future.
We'll have the conversations in the next few days. Whatever, happens out of there, I don't know if anything will be definitive coming out of those. But, I just need some time away to think about my future in the game and my future, here if they want me to be a part of the next phase or if they're ready to move on. Either way, I'm thankful for my 2 years here. No, this game's been great to me. I've given this game a lot, and I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. I'm thankful for the men and women I've interacted with over the years in the organizations, the men I got to play with, and no, I've got no regrets about anything that went down. Obviously, there's a lot of hypotheticals here. So if I want to play, hypothetical number 1. If they want to move on, hypothetical number 2. Would I be willing to play for another team, hypothetical number 3? The answer is yes.
Wait, yes to which hypothetical? I don't have a clue what this man will do. I don't think anyone does, including himself. It seemed from the outside looking in like a slog this year. Can't imagine it was a ton of fun. But I'm pretty sure that if he said he wanted to play next year, he would have options regardless of how those 2 years as a Jet went. Meanwhile, in the other locker room, Tyreek Hill was asked about this season, and he took things in an unexpected direction.
I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, or if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. So it was great playing here, but at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for for my career and what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be, just,
does that mean
just out there.
Mean you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey, it gets.
All right. Season of lows for the Dolphins. The offense didn't click without Tua. Make a gigantic difference, his involvement, and wasn't able to play these last couple of games. Just consider Tyreek. He signed through 2026, by the way. Scored 6 times this year. That's 7 fewer touchdowns than last year. He had 38 fewer catches than a season ago. And you just heard the man. I'm out, bro. We shall see. In the AFC East, Jerod Mayo is out. The Patriots fired him after they won against Buffalo. Mayo's only season as the head coach, they go 4-13. Owner Robert Kraft said in a statement that it was one of the hardest decisions that he has had to make. Another job opening is out there. Patriots, one of 4 that we know of now who are looking for a new head coach, along with the Bears, Saints, and Jets. Mayo, the first Patriots coach to be one and done since 1990 and the 10th league-wide in the last decade.